Howdy folks, welcome into another stream with me, Fluent Code. Sorry while I just go about adjusting my workspace here. We've had tank streams and all sorts today, so we just need to get everything correct. Now, as I'm sure some of you may have seen, we've been posting up over Instagram and Discord and all the rest of it that we are coming to the end of our Nighthaunt project, our spooky Halloween project, and I've loved it. I'm actually really pleased with the results. I've had a great time. Yeah, no issues from me. The only problem is that we haven't really done as much as we planned to. So I'll fill you in. I went out and bought a huge selection of Nighthaunt miniatures, and we then said, yeah, let's paint them for Halloween. We thought that would be a good idea, didn't we? So yes, we've gone ahead and we've painted a bunch of them. However, the bunch of them that we've painted is probably only about 30% of what we picked up. So, you know, mission failed successfully, I guess. Now, since you last saw us, what have we done with these guys? So you were here when we discovered our love of this rust effect, so we painted this rust effect on. We've gone and added, I don't know if you can see that there, we've added a spooky glow to the bottom of their bases. Now that was added with an airbrush and the Games Workshop Poxwalker shade. A lovely colour there that's added this sort of spooky glow. Now all we did was we sprayed white over the base. Now what I have realised is that then I've made the mistake in that I didn't paint the base first. So I've then had to go in and repaint this base with what did we paint it with? Cygor brown. I just thought that would be a nice dark dirt colour for this textured base. And that's all I'm going to do with it. I'm not going to actually go in and do anything more with those bases on terms of what you see here. Everything now is going to be stuck on. So no more paint for the bases. We're going to try and achieve this lovely effect here, which is tufts of grass and these lovely leaves that we got, these basing material leaves. So yeah, we're having a go at trying to churn out some nice bases this evening. I personally, I'm quite pleased with how they look. I think they're coming on lovely and they give a real autumnal feel, which is quite in keeping with what we were going for, which is a Halloween project. So all I'm going to do this evening is grab my tufts of grass. I've got some beautiful tufts of grass here. Do you know, I first bought these tufts of grass when tufts of grass first became a thing. I don't know if it was like probably close on 10 years ago that this new stick-on grass tufts became a thing. So I bought them absolutely ages ago, and I've barely even touched them since then. You can see that these two strips here, that's all that's missing off of them. That's all that we actually ever did with them. So we've got plenty of space to work with, plenty of tufts to work with, and I have, even as an emergency, got some more swamped tufts there. Thank you. What I don't have is any more of the sort of dried out burnt highland tufts, which will be a bit disappointing because we've got some nice fresh woodland tufts and some lowland shrubs. I suppose shrubs might go all right. Maybe we might add some shrubs to some of the larger bases, and then I've got some lovely meadow flowers which I don't think suit the look at all, but yeah. And then I have also got some very, very old, for some of the larger models, some basing slates and some very, very small basing slates, but I don't think I'm going to use these, certainly not this small stuff. I might use some of these just to add a little bit of extra space on some of the larger models, but that'll be about it. So I think first of all we're going to hit the chain rasps, the fiddly little ones, and we're going to go through and we're going to put all of the tufts on. And the way I do this is I find what I think would be a suitable space for tufts. I think probably tufts would be better placed at the front of the model, where generally possible. So we get a nice little tuft like this, and then we go ahead. I don't trust the glue that comes on the tufts, so we'll be adding a little drop of our own super glue to the mix, just here. And then we grab our tuft, place it in, and push it down so that we get it nice and secure. And then we just sort of give the tufts themselves a chance to spring up, get them into place. And then just using a nice little pair of nail scissors, we just trim off anything that's really egregiously hanging over the edge. The reason being is that we don't really want to spill all over the edge too much, as we have spent a fair bit of time painting in the base edges into a nice black. There we go. We'll pop that to one side. I have also got, for some of the models which have gravestones and things like that, I have also got some poison ivy, which we can tear apart and add up, you know, string up the sides of gravestones and what have you, because that's a nice little effect as well. You've got to be quite careful that you don't destroy it too much, but you can get some quite nice trails of ivy going on with those. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to go through and give ourselves some tufts everywhere. Again, I think our tufts would be better suited towards the front of the model. Decent sized tuft gets a decent splurge of glue. Ooh. And then I proceed to immediately drop it because I'm a klutz. Now, whilst this might look quite basic, what I'm doing, that is the intention. The intention is for it to be quite a sort of basic affair on the basing. We don't want it to really overshadow the models themselves. Now, I found this ivy can be quite tough to work with. You need to give it a sort of fair stab at working. And now I've gone and got that, there's glue on that there bit of ivy. why I make sure I keep plenty of tools, and some of them I will eventually find one which doesn't stick to the super glue. Then I'll just let that dry, and then we'll bend that round and we'll wrap that round the gravestone. Like so. And then I can trim off the excess. We'll have a nice little bit of growth around our gravestone there. And that'll be all I'll do on that one. I will then go to town with the leaves. Now these leaves are something else. They actually look quite dark in the in the pot, but they come up absolutely beautifully. I'm not sure what they are. I think they might be something like birch seeds, but they are very, very tiny. And some of them, as you'll see, have this beautiful leaf shape to them. I'm not going to be able to get one now on camera that displays what I mean. So you can see that. You can see there is a really, really lovely leaf shape to them. I imagine they've probably been dyed of some sort, because that is quite a vibrant colour. But yeah, there we go. Right, so we'll just trim off these bad boys. And there we go. We've got some nice greenery, some leaves growing around our base. I can see the super glue on there. It's gone a bit shiny, but to be honest with you, I'm not that fussed. We'll put a big heap of leaves everywhere, and then we'll be ready to go with them. Here we go. Now this is going to be a nice one for some of our sort of dead tufts, I think. In fact, I might even do the unthinkable and put a large tuft and a tiny tuft on this guy. I think he should have one sort of across here. And then we'll find a small one on this colour. Go, one of these. And we'll just give him a little tiny tuft towards the edge of the base here. Or maybe we should set that one in just the idea, the effect that I'm going for is obviously that of a graveyard. Thank you very much, JB. Yeah, I am really loving how these bases have turned out. Yes, these are Lidl super glues. I make sure whenever I see them come in, I make sure I grab a bunch of them because they're just one of the best super glues that I've ever found. The ease of use of the bottle is fantastic. So I always make sure that I try and keep a couple of them, couple of bottles of these to hand. Right, I'm gonna combine a little bit of tuft with a little bit of ivy around the bottom of this gravestone here. I don't really like this model, and there's not an awful lot to it, so it's just going to get a little smear of ivy of one of these offcuts that we had, so we get to make use of that. Welcome back in, by the way. Very much. Yes, absolutely. The glues in there, although I hate to say it, but I think they might have changed their supplier, because the last ones that I saw in there were definitely not the same Patex glue. I was like, oh no, they haven't gone and changed supplier, have they? So I'm fingers crossed that it's not the case, that they haven't done the dirty on me and got rid of my... Oh my god, that does not want to stick. Well, actually it does. It wants to stick to everything but the model. This one more time with a plastic. I think our ivy is possibly a little bit lost there, but we're going to do a little tuft on the back as well. Let's just pop that nice and centrally there. Yeah, I've really pleased with how these have started to come out now. I think the models are about on par with what I was expecting. Oh, you've tried the... Okay, it's UH... Okay. Oh. Well, okay. As long as it's still just as good, we'll try it out and see how it does. Like I say, I've got a bit of a stash of the Patex stuff left. But yeah, I think the models have turned out as good as I could have expected. I wasn't really expecting anything more. The bases, on the other hand, I am absolutely stoked by those bases. I am so pleased with them. It's unbelievable. I think that those leaves have really, really made it, and they just make the colour of them pop. So I'm properly pleased with that. I did also, on some of these guys, when I was doing the glow on the bases, I did also airbrush in a bit of a glow from these candles, and there's a tiny bit of not very good OSL. I didn't intend it to be particularly overpowering. It's there, it's on, it's done. That's about all I can say for it, really. Okay, what have we got for this guy? I think this guy can have... I don't think he wants all of that. That's a bit much. Let's go with a little tufty there. We'll probably put that on the front of this guy. Like I say, I am trying to limit how much the overhang happens. Okay. So we'll work through these guys, get get a good batch of them based. In fact, what I think I might try and do is try and get all of these guys based. And then we can get all of these guys with the grass and the clumps and what have you on, and then we can work our way to some of the bigger guys who will have things like rocks on their base. I know, right? Unbelievable. We've got another one of these doofs. Do I want to put ivy? No, I don't want to go too much with ivy. This one is going to have a little tuft of this stuff here in front of his gravestone, I think. I'm quite liberal with spreading the glue. It's not a precious commodity, although if they have changed their supply, it may become so in the future. But I don't want it to be, I don't want the bases to be completely overpowering with grass tufts. They're already going to be quite strong with the amount of leaves that are on them, because that is the thing with it. I will be putting the leaves literally everywhere. They are going to, like, everywhere on the base will be leaves. And some of them can just have the very tiniest touch of grass. All that's needed. Just a little squidge, just enough. I think this one might call for a bit more ivy. I'll let that dry for a bit, because that's gone on quite nicely, and then I'll bend that piece round to the front. I don't know whether we should go up this one. I might try and go up the side of it rather than sort of wrap it across the front. I think that could be quite a good look. So I'll pop that one to one side. I'll let that glue dry. I think trying to work too quickly on them on the last one was probably a bit of a mistake. I think that's also a bit of a mistake, and we're going to cut that down into two. We'll go right on the edge of the base with it. Oh, sorry, JB, I missed that you said you used that Yoo-hoo stuff on the Wraith. Well, if it's good enough to hold together a Wraith Lord, then it's probably pretty strong stuff, so I don't think we've got too much issue that our favourite glue has become useless, at least. I do very much like these grass tufts. Hopefully they're not. Hopefully it doesn't feel like they're overdoing it. I don't think it does. I think they are quite subtle, especially when we get all of the leaves on the rest of the base, because it's the leaves that really do set the tone of the base here, and I'm all about that. Let's see if it's super glue after all, so it's pretty much dry. Up the side here. Now, I don't know if it's a bit too much to go back down the other side, or whether we should just trim that. I think, to be honest with you, that we should probably cut our losses with that one and trim that bit off, because I actually quite like where that's gone. We'll take that piece, pop it to one side. We've got loads more of this ivy. We could go nuts with the ivy if we're honest, because the ivy really is. No problem at all, JB. Not to worry at all, mate. Not to worry. I think this ivy is going to be definitely a case of less is more. And we're already kind of messy looking with it, but I don't think that's too much of a worry. If anything, what I might also just try and do, I can just see I've got a tiny little whisper of grass, static grass, just there, that before I blow it away, I'm just going to see if we can add it just there. Oh, look at that. It's absolutely a wasted effort, but look, you can just see, can you just see the tiniest piece of grass? I should have set that back against the gravestone, to be honest with you. Right, What have we got? We've got 1, 2, we've got 5 more of these guys. And then we're on to some slightly more interesting bits. So let's grab some stuff. Obviously the intention of the bases, the airbrushing on the bases, was to give us a sort of ectoplasmic glow. I wanted the ghost juices to be strong with these guys and to be running out there. I think it's worked to an extent. I don't know that the shade was the proper consistency. It's gone on. I've managed to feather it back in several places where it was looking a bit overpowered. And then we also came along and we blackened up the tips of all of the cloaks to make it look like they were sort of drifting out of the shadows. I will post the inspiration pics at some point that got us onto this nightmare of a challenge. Let's go with you. Nice little one there. A very sticky bit. Maybe I should be using some of the darker greens as well. Well, maybe we'll fish those out just for a couple. Oh, I've forgotten I had the shrubs as well, didn't I? All right, maybe we'll put a couple of shrubs in too. We'll add these into the mix. Maybe it's a bit late to be adding things into the mix, but I kind of want to. I want to add without going too mad. So we've got a few colours there, haven't we? Let's see about one of these shrubberies. Small base, so small shrub. Oh, I think that could look quite nice. Don't want it to be overpowering, and we've got to remember that the idea is that this is probably somewhere in a graveyard. So we don't want it to look too much like the wilderness. I think that's quite cute. We can probably make that work. It doesn't look like flowers, which is the thing I was worried about. Meh. And we'll take this slightly darker green and we'll use that on this one, I think. We'll go here. So, and then I think we'll just put a tiny bit of this around this side as well. Where did we go on the last one of these? We went on the back, so we're going to go on the front of this one, right in here. Nice big dollop, and we'll use the actual tweezery bit and okay. That is the chain rasps done. I'm going to go ahead and just carry on with the larger, yeah, basically we're now onto the larger models. We've already done the harpy darpy things of doom. I don't know what these are supposed to be called. I'm a little bit disappointed with how I've managed to get the fade between the spooky ghost goo and the rest of the ghost done on that one, so at some point I'm going to have to come back and touch that up, but the bases themselves are looking quite good. So that's the screechy lady ghost things, apart from this one. Now what have we got in here? It looks like we've got a bit of broken stonework down there. Nothing that would probably suggest ivy, so I think we'll go with a shrub of that ilk there. Whee! Onto the base here, and then possibly a little bit of grass as well. I think a little tuft of you towards the front. Been quite a productive day actually as well. I couldn't find a cylinder anywhere, so I went into Blender and I made my own. Basically I wanted something to stand the models on to take photographs of, because my miniature holder is all covered in goopy shit paint and what have you, so I was getting really depressed with taking pictures on this because they don't look very good. So now I've got a nice little stand, sprayed it black, semi-gloss, well it's supposed to be matte but it's come out as it is, and I can pop that there and take pictures to my heart's content, and it's perfectly sized for yay big, but also perfectly sized for yay big as well. The only problem is this silly bin, who's got a much bigger base, and I don't know if the stand things might go on there okay. I think that'll be all right, but yeah, I was quite pleased with that. And the whole thing about having access to a 3D printer and just being able to go, yeah, do you know what I could really do? I could really do with a cylinder about 3 inches tall by about 2 inches wide, I wonder how oh, well, that's how I do it. Yeah, I do like having my 3D printer. Now, this bad boy is crying out for all the things, isn't he? Look at the base on this guy. We've got, I haven't painted it. I should have done really, but this cage thing, that's going to have a few leaves scattered over it. I want grass tufts. I would like to get some ivy going around the metal frame thing that's growing up there. I think that would be a great use case for some ivy. So I wonder if we can get a string of that together first, and then we'll turn to these other bits, because ivy appears to be the troublesome thing. Let's see if we can pull you apart without destroying everything. You there. Do they use like real hair for this or something? Good God, that's horrible. Right, that piece there, I would like to try and get the whole thing on this frame. So let's see, how's that going to look in reality? So we want a bit over there. Don't want it all hung up in the keys. I think if we go around the base, and I think what I'm going to have to do is just bite the bullet and glue a bit down. Glue a bit down here. Wow, that stuff is just awkward as all hell. I'm clearly doing something wrong, because it might just be the case that this stuff doesn't react well to super glue. It might want like a nice dose of PVA before it sticks. It could be. I think it's something to do with this hairy shit that it's made up of. So I reckon swing off to one side. We had a bit of glue. And then that piece just instantly bonds. Evening again, Mouldy. Thank you very much for joining us. Yes, we're progressing nicely. We are using some what are listed as shrubs. We're having a lovely time of messing around with the fake ivy. Yes, folks, you heard it here first. Fake ivy is indeed a thing. Right, just drop a little bit on there. We'll glue the next stage in. So, this cage thing strikes me as something that would probably be quite overgrown with ivy. If ever there was a thing. Oh, nice, excellent. Well, I'm glad to be your hobby excuse. JB, I hope you have a wonderful night's sleep, and I hope everything goes well tomorrow. You take care, and we'll catch you when you're next about. Thank you very much for dropping by the stream. As always, an absolute pleasure to have you here, and an absolute privilege to broadcast for you, sir. That's not working how I wanted it to work. Just going to see if I can just hold it there. Ah, nope, that doesn't work either. I'm tempted to get some of the super glue with an activator. But I also don't want to be spraying stuff all over the model. Right, let's try it this way. So let's push that down to, in fact, before we get too carried away with making that overly ivified, I'm going to call it quits while we're sort of ahead, and pull the rest of that off, and then trim up whatever goopy Chinese person hair they make this from off. One of the reasons I didn't want to go too mad on it is because I still want to put lots of leaves round it. So that's ivy, and then we want, what do we want? I think we want some dead grass on this one. That's got a nice straight edge to it there, hasn't it? So we're going to take that. Apart from that bit, which we're going to just pare off. I might add that to the tiny little flicker that we had on the other model earlier. And we're going to go down here with that. It's quite remarkable how much these type of things add to the model. Finishing the base off properly gives you just a real sense of accomplishment with them. There we go. We've got a nice bit of grass growing up there. Oh, make sure it's all stuck. And then we'll come along with the leaves everywhere else. Go. Now, where was it? So we've got that tiny little fragment there and that bit there. I wonder if we could just add them all into a bit of a clump that we've got going on down here and just pretend that it was a planned thing rather than a kind of shitty accident. Oh, hello, cat. There we go. That little clump there is starting to look a little bit more planned rather than, well, shit. Okay, so we've done our last lovely lady, which means we have our banshee to paint. And again, like I say, I've darkened up the tips of her cloaks, her rags, tatters, whatever you call them, and I gave her a nice little facial glow there, which didn't really work, but it's done now, isn't it? I think the overall effect will be quite good. I'm willing to go out on a limb, not pull my own. How does the phrase go? I like toot my own tooter, but I don't think that's what everyone else uses. I don't mean to toot my own tooter. Right. I think she can have a shrub and some grass. We're going to have that size shrub. And the shrubs we've so far placed have normally been quite far to the back of the base, but this one's going to go right front and centre. Bring it right out into the thick of things. Or the thicket of things, as it may be. And then we're going to add a big old chunk of this. And that's going to sit just behind it here. See, the problem that I've got with this, yes, yeah, I mean, she's quite a nice, very, very simple paint job. You know, I gave her a red corset and the rest of it was just the same sprayed, airbrushed sort of brown to ivory to white, and then a little bit of work on her hands and face. She's got a little knife in there as well. Painted the hair in grey, and then away to town. The problem with these representing shrubs is that they're not very tall. They don't sit any taller than the regular grass, which is a bit meh. I don't know. Not entirely happy with that, but I'm not going to lose too much sleep over it. Now, she does have a slightly bigger than normal base, so I think she might get a tactical rock. Let's have a look. What can we put in there? I think a bit of that might go all right. Needs to be just outside the radius of her goop though. So we'll, oh, I quite like that side. See if we can get that to sit on there, like so. Right, we'll let the rock dry. And then leaves all around will hide the joins, hide the gaps. Next up, we have these Dorises. Now, again, I made a slight mistake when I was painting these. I never painted a different material on the quillions or the pommel, the hand, you know, the grip of the sword. So it's all painted in the same material as the rest of the blade, except clearly it's made of sterner stuff. So I'm thinking probably, I don't know, stainless steel, titanium, something like that. Clearly these ghosts know what they're doing metallurgy wise. I don't. Now he's also on a fairly decent sized base with not a lot else going on. I'm wondering whether he needs a little rock as well. Do you need a rock? The only real reason for the rocks is that they will add an area where the leaves don't go. So no, you don't get a rock. You're gonna have grass and love it. But because you've got quite a big base, you get quite a big grass. We're going to go with that whole patch there. Just need to see if we can lift it all in one go. Hey, look at that. Look at that. Sensibly, or to my mind sensibly, position the flat edge along one side of the base, along one of the edges, so that could be trimmed up nicely. There we go. That works. That works. And then obviously just a crap load of leaves everywhere else. Make sure that's all stuck down nicely. It's really not until you actually see the leaves going on that you understand how they just bring the base to life. You can kind of put whatever you like on there. So I'm actually itching to get started putting those use your words, the leaves on the bases. Right, we're going to put just a piece of ground ivy on this one, because why not? Now I'm just going to estimate how long we need that. That long should do it. And then we just drop on our lovely ivy. Get off. Get off. Get off. No, that's my finger. Ah, shit. Wow, this ivy is actually really awkward to get it to go where you want. We'll let that dry, and if it needs a bit more sticking, we'll give it a bit more sticking. I don't know about, I'll tell you what, let's do a tiny little shrub on there as well. So just one of these little wee doodads here, and we'll pop that in. We'll keep it quite close actually, because why not? It's our mess to make. Go. Your greens all seem to have perma-thinned. Explain yourself. It sounds like you've somehow managed to thin them in the bottle. I'm not sure quite what you've done there. Right, nice simple one here. We're just going to go with a nice big clump of dead icky grass. Oh look, got kind of like a neat caterpillar-y shape there, which sort of goes quite nicely around there, I think. There you go, nice and simple one that. And won't stick even on a totally dry brush. They won't stick to the model, or they won't stick to the brush. Because if they won't stick to the brush, there is something definitely weird going on. If they won't stick to the model probably needs to be cleaned. You will find that certain models are not very well made necessarily, and rather the release process that they go through from the factory leaves a chemical residue on the model that sometimes needs to be cleaned off. Oh my god, why do you insist that a tiny bit of glue on the what material are the models? Are they resin or are they metal? Because I know you sometimes have a mix of both. No. If they're resin models, definitely clean them. All you're using is a bit of warm soapy water, not too hot, because if it's resin you'll actually be able to bend them. If it's metal, sometimes you still just want to give them a warm soapy water wash, because the release agent that they put into the mould it's a non-stick agent on purpose, it stops them sticking to the mould, which also stops paint sticking to them, if that makes sense. It should make sense. It's, you know, if it's non-stick for one thing, it's possibly going to be non-stick for others. So are they pre-primed? If the models are pre-primed, then you shouldn't be having that issue, and there's something else going on. It's quite hard to make paint too thin. You can do it. There's not really a way to thicken it up except just applying more of it. You spray canned them. What spray did you use? Because it may be a case that you might have got some propellant or something on when you sprayed them. We're just exploring possibilities here. There are many and endless of them. Oh, this one, I don't know what it is. This one is, I find it particularly difficult to hold. He's got a weird weight imbalance. This is the one that broke on me, and it broke on the original joint here, and it's a really shit way of making a model Games Workshop. Please don't ever think that that's a great idea. It's Army Paint and Matte Black Primer Spray. I mean, it sounds like you've done everything right. You're using the correct, you know, unlike me, you're using the correct paints, you know, made for the job, rather than cheap Poundland car sprays that I tend to use. Yes, folks, I am that cheap that I do this sort of stuff on a budget of not a lot, and will use things like £2 tins of car spray with, you know, a sorted effect. I think that needs some grass on it as well, so we're going to go with swamp tufts. Yeah, I can't really think what's going on with yours. I've never really heard of thinning paint too much. I mean, it's possible you can thin it in like batches, so I mean, have you tried just taking it straight from the pot? You know, the cardinal rule of thin your paints goes out the window if your paint is already too thin to actually work with. So just try taking it straight from the pot. Have a go at that. Don't put it on a palette, just dip your brush in, whack it straight on the model. Because otherwise I can't really see any reason why you're still struggling. These guys are starting to take up a bit of room, aren't they? But we are also powering through the the collection with only a single use of a tactical rock. So we might have to do something else with this one. We might have to go with a bit more rock or a bit more ivy. Do we go with ivy? Is ivy a bit too overdone already? Let's start by putting some. Start by putting a tuft. We'll go with a medium-sized tuft. It's still only a medium-sized model, I feel. So we're going to pop that behind this skeleton here, kind of disguise some of this joint where the skeleton joins the base. Then we want a nice big, I say big, these ones don't have any of the big tufts that this stuff did. This is clearly a sort of first draft. Green can be a funny paint. The opacity on greens can be very, very difficult to get to work properly. I've had numerous different green paints over the years. Some of them have been great. Some of them have been absolutely just shocking. So yeah, green can be a difficult paint to get to grips with, to use, to get to perform right, which is kind of unfortunate as well, because what it means is that mostly when we get a decent green that we like, we stick to it, and green is actually the colour that as humans we have the most ability to see different shades of green. So the fact that green is such a pain to paint with, I think I'm going to do some ivy. But only a little bit around the back of the... Oh my god, I said only a little bit, you donkey. Around the back of the... gravestone, so... Oh my god, just stick already. Wow, that is super awkward to get it to stick. Oh my god, and I've just knocked it off. It is like some weird hair. Oh well. No worries, my friend. Absolutely, literally any. It's a hobby to be shared. Nobody gains anything from keeping hobby secrets. So literally anything you think I might know the answer to, my friend, just give me a shout. Just ask, whether that's in the group chat or on here or whatever. I'm really pleased with how that has come out, because that actually looks a little bit like Ivy Might. It's a bit awkward to show you. Oh, there we go. We can get you in there. Look, that looks kind of cool. And then we'll just cover the rest of the base with leaves. Beautiful, beautiful leaves. I'm getting quite impatient to actually start with the leaves, to be honest with you. What have we been going for? We've been going for like an hour and 20 minutes. If I don't get started on some leaves, which is the money shot that I think everybody is waiting for, then we might not actually get any. We might not actually get any leaves done. So I'm gonna pause what I'm doing, because I can come back to this at any time, and I'm going to whip up a batch of glue. Oh shit! I'll just push that off of the cutting mat straight onto my lovely homemade desk. So that was silly. Right, as I say, whip up a batch of lovely homemade PVA. Here's some I made earlier, and this stuff I just use it neat. I don't bother to thin it. It doesn't need thinning. It costs literal pennies. There's no need to do anything with it. What I do need, though, aha, that one's fine. This is a problem that I hadn't thought about. The okay, no, that's going to work. We're fine. Don't worry. So as we know we're going to work, let's start with the big boy. And there's an ad. There's an ad right at the payoff, right at the scene where we're going to, hit the money. We go into an ad. Typical, isn't it? Right. And this stuff is just going to go on super thick. We want it to be a nice goopy mess when it comes to the pouring on the leaves. A little bit on the grass is fine. Get it in underneath and around the skeleton and around the gravestones, and just whop that on just quick and dirty and get it right in there. This army is supposed to look like it's just crawled out from the gravestones. Nothing to me says cemetery like autumn leaves everywhere, cold, frosty, Halloween weather for one thing. We are going out on Friday this week, trick or treating. So if anybody else has plans for Halloween, do let me know. Interesting to see what everyone's planning on getting up to. Right, there we go. So Now we wedge that bad boy in there. Here we go. This is the money shot, folks. This is the payoff to what we've been working on. We just literally want to get leaves everywhere. There's no finesse to this. It's just a case of dump leaves everywhere but on your desk. And then we take our trusty plastic tool that only certain things want to stick to, hopefully. Just smidge them down. Just all over the base, everywhere where there's these leaves. We're just going to smidge them into place. Not crush them, not, you know, smash them into place. We just want to push them down slightly, just to get them to interact with the glue and just start to sit nicely into a place where the glue is going to harden around them. This is going to be, oh look, we've done that all right, haven't we? Okay. Doesn't matter if it goes a little bit everywhere. These are recoverable. We just need to, it's like a fun mini game. You spend some time recovering your basing materials. So we've got a few bits here and there. So, you know, we each have our own definition of fun. You guys might not find it a fun mini game, but it's like that diamond art shit that the kids play. And then we just tippy tapper. And the more that they sit up and look a bit wind blown and sit into the grass and all the rest of it, the better, because that really adds to the look. We just want to make sure that we haven't got too many sat here over the edge of the base. So just nip them off or push them back on if they are. And there we go. That is the payoff. That's what certainly what I've been waiting to do throughout the whole of this modelling project, is just literally smash these leaves all over the bases. Welcome in, AWOL. I hope you're doing well. You've joined us just in time for the money shot. There we go. Yeah, Mouldy's paint is not sticking to the model. He's primed it. Yes, you skipped the blowjob part and jumped straight in at the end. Oh dear, yeah, that was right. Okay, I just tidied all the leaves up, and then I pinged the bottom of the case and they went everywhere again. Right, let's have a look. Who are we going to do next? I think we need to get some of our normal chain rasps on the scorecard. Mouldy, what brand of paint are you using? it shouldn't make too much of a difference. Acrylic is acrylic in general. There's a few varying grades of quality, but generally, you know, an acrylic paint is an acrylic paint is an acrylic paint. So yeah, let us know in the chat what brand of paint you're using. It can sometimes have an effect, but it shouldn't be anything particularly. It shouldn't be. Are the paints coming out split at all? I know I said I wanted it on as thick as you like, but that's maybe a little bit much considering the size of base that we're now dealing with. Because yes, we are going to do some of the chain rasps with the very teeny tiny bases that they're mounted on. Is that the same size bases models used to come on before everything got embiggened? I mean, it's not the quickest basing method, but it's pretty up there. Hey, well, you'll be pleased to hear that I have joined the dark side, and I have ordered what I believe are effectively some Gundam. Yeah, I'm just trying. So Mouldy is quite a fresh newcomer to the world of painting. I'm just trying to think of terms that might make that easier to digest. So obviously the paint is the pigment, and the medium is the fluid, the suspension that it's held in. Yeah, it's so obviously, like I say, the paint itself is effectively an acrylic emulsion of the medium that everything is suspended in, and the flakes of pigment, or the bits of pigment that provide the colour. And sometimes you can see when you water a paint down too much, you can see the elements of the pigment floating around in the medium, the suspension, the fluid that the paint is sort of made up from. I think that's what AWOL is trying to get to, is you know, have you thinned it down so much that it's separating out, it's split. Yeah, I suppose it's possible. Yes, well, I've bought a. Not only have I gone over to the dark side of Gundam, I've decided that I'm going to try out and see how much of a scam AliExpress is. So now probably the whole of China has my banking details, but I shall be the proud owner of 3 plastic dudes. that will arrive sometime between now and 2027, maybe. Oh, I hadn't realised quite how close to the bone this guy's hand is. He's very much a low down dude that's going to be awkward to get leaves underneath him. Oh my god, this was absolutely the wrong thing to put these leaves into and then try and mess about with them. DSP-IAE. I don't know what DSP-IAE actually is. Yes, I know some of us don't have principles that we need to stick to, which makes things, you know, on the whole, quite a lot easier. Just trying to get a few leaves down on the inside. That, you know, the bit that I said that was going to be really hard. Just pick some leaves up and shovel them in there. That's worked quite nicely. I do love how these. Oh, okay. Oh, like some of the tools that you see on the various making Gundam videos. Because they do seem to have a fantastic range and variety and scope of tools that I would have, you know, being silly little old me, I would have just assumed that a modelling knife would have done 90% of the jobs that I see. They have a separate, funky, and I assume very expensive tool with Gundam modelling. I mean, it's not a con, surely. It's not, you know, hey, look, buy this really cool tool that totally you wouldn't be able to do with just your normal hobby knife. Yeah, Mouldy, absolutely feel free to post up some of the issues that you're having on the Discord. As AWOL says, it is kind of us just sort of stabbing at various different ideas based on, well, I'm assuming, Mouldy, that AWOL has probably got somewhere similar to the length of time served badges in the hobby that I have. So yeah, we're just trying to use a bit of our experience to help, but by all means drop us some pictures in Discord and we'll see if we can diagnose it a bit better for you, because it would be a shame to either waste the models or the time that you've spent painting and it's not working properly. On the subject of not working properly, I am not having that problem here. I am absolutely enjoying this immensely. This, take a big dollop of gooey, sticky children's glue and just go nuts with leaves. If only all basing was as wonderful to do as this. Basing is not my favourite part of the hobby. I don't mind it. Get fucked. This plastic just had got slightly out of shape, and as soon as I touched it, it just pinged. It's covered in the... I'm going to be hoovering these up. It's going to be like confetti. I'm going to be hoovering them up for weeks. Who am I kidding? I never use the Hoover. Although this is in the hobby space, so I imagine it probably does end up as a blue job rather than a pink job. Right, let's try again. Try not to go everywhere. That's better. There we go. Hey, you're getting it. Oh shit. Oh shit. That bit there, you are a bit big. You're going to go to one side. I think I've heard this material described as birch seeds, which it would make a kind of sense. There's very much a natural, you know, these are not man-made, definitely not. But I would have thought the only birch that I know of is the tree, and I can't personally picture a tree growing from a seed this size. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe I've misjudged that, but maybe that's just the way it feels. Right, that's 5 of them done. So we're going to treat ourselves with this one, with the tactical rock. So we've got to do a bit of work around the rock. We do want to get quite up in there because we don't want any gaps. And then she sort of has her own little tactical rock that will just skirt around. And then we've got this tiny little bit over here as well. Now, I know I said I didn't want to sort of scrunch them up too much. I do want to a little bit, because there are certain areas where I want them to look like they are a bit dog-eared, a bit beaten up, like under this rock. They should be quite sort of compacted in there. Wonder if you could wet these first. I think that's probably asking a bit too much of the material, to be fair. Oh, nearly. Well, I don't know whether it's because we are back streaming to fewer viewers these days. There's been a noticeable drop off in the number of viewers, which I take full responsibility for. I changed and chopped and didn't stick to my streaming schedule, and obviously some of the people who were watching have decided that they've had enough of that. But it does mean that the viewer spam bots have raised their ugly heads again, which is fine. I'd started to miss them a little bit. You know, spam bots have got to eat as well. No hard feelings. But I just wonder if it's a bit of a symptom when you are streaming to lower numbers. Right. And there is our Banshee with her tactical rock. Do you know what? Do you know what? That's I've been a silly boy, haven't I? Because the tactical rock would have leaves on it. Oh, am I maybe being a bit over ambitious? Well, I'm not being anything if I can't actually pick any of the bastard things up, can I? Look at this. This is just absolute professionalism here. Individually placing a leaf into a puddle of glue on the tactical rock. There we go. That is just the perfect finishing touch. I don't know if there's any way. I don't know if there's any way to lock these leaves in place. I imagine possibly spraying a matte varnish, but I worry that that's going to like clog up on the grass tufts and what have you. So I don't actually know that there is, unless we were to let it all dry and set and then come back with a very watered down PVA and put that over the top of it. But I think that's probably going to look a little bit awkward, if I say. So we might do it, we might not do it. Now, I am thinking about finishing, because this is approaching my normal stream time limit. However, I don't actually have a time limit today because I'm not at work tomorrow. I've got a day off. And so I am very tempted to go a little bit longer. My brain is saying to me, oh no, that's it, Fluent. Your stream time is up. Come in number 5. Your 30 minutes are up. Then you've got to bring the boat back. Ah, shit. These little leaf things are literally everywhere. They're all over me. They're all over the desk. They're probably all over the floor. The cat somewhere, probably covered. But I don't care because we're having a great old time. Look at this. They just look like, well, they just look like leaves. It's just perfect. I'm so pleased with this. I'm not going to try too hard with getting them in place. Let's just, there we go. Excellent. With some of the larger ones, with some of the ones like this, see this one, the blend is actually okay between the spooky goop. With some of the larger ones with this goop, I was tempted to glue a few leaves as if she's risen through the leaves and just sort of left it as they ping up. So I don't know whether to try that. Is that going to look a bit silly? I mean, I could put a couple of leaves in the ruins like that. Let's see if we've got a leaf that we can. There. In there.
Welcome home, Columbia. Beautiful, beautiful. Discovery 4 computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
Good looking leaf shape and see if we can.
Discovery Houston, prep to ATO.
I don't know if that is actually looking a bit
Beautiful, beautiful.
like it's there by accident rather than planned. So what I think I'm going to do is add another one on there that's far enough. I've got a tiny hair of grass tuft. See, that's. I think that actually works quite well. Sort of gives the impression that she's rising from the ground, and or her spooky ghost trail is disturbing the leaves, maybe. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. If you think it's shit, say so. Probably won't listen, but I'd love to know your thoughts on the matter. And it's not that I wouldn't listen. I would listen, I would take it in, and then I would continue to do my own thing, because I'm actually quite... Do you think, or do you like the leaves glued to the spooky ghost trail, as if it's disturbing the leaves as she passes through. She's like bringing the leaves up with her. I'm trying to make them look purposely placed rather than just there accidentally, with the idea that she's disturbing the leaves as she moves through them. I'm quite pleased with it. Yeah. I'm not going to do it on all of the models because that's quite a lot. And not all of the models have that degree of movement. Those ones look like they move very, very fast. The same with the swirling dervishy sword dudes. They'll probably get a little bit of that treatment. Maybe one or two leaves on there. Just on the bit that contacts the ground. I'm not going to do it on the rest of their swirling, loopy shit. That would be too much. Look at that bit, that's broken. I think it came broken, but it's still broken. And I am very disappointed that I never bothered to gap fill all of these guys. The second batch that I did, which are currently just base coated, or spray painted rather, not even base coated. The second batch have all been gap filled. So I say the project is over. The project isn't over. The project is currently failed successfully. We are approaching the end of the month. We got a good chunk done, considering that, you know, we haven't painted an Warhammer army in forever. The Eldar don't really count because they are a novelty project. So we've gone from nothing to quite a chunk of painted Nighthaunts in less than 30 days. Enough less than 30 days that I'm really, really pleased with it. So yeah, I'm quite happy with where we've got to. I don't think it counts as a success if we went by the original metrics that we had, which was, here's over 100 Nighthaunt models that I've bought for 100 quid. I'm going to paint them all before the end of October, or before Halloween. Realistically, looking back at it, it was never going to happen. I do all of my painting on stream. I don't particularly want to stop doing all of my painting on stream because it's the thing that inspires me to paint, and inspiring me to paint is the thing that inspires me to stream. So it's kind of a sort of self-fulfilling equation, really. So I do enjoy the way those two things interact together, the painting and the streaming, and so I kind of want to keep all of my painting to be done on stream from now on. Well, I say from now on, that's what we've done so far. Oh boy, that is an interesting looking base. Oh, we've got leaves on keys and stuff there, which we probably don't want to have. Come on, get off. Get off. Right. Couple of leaves on this grating, because this grating is actually pissing me off a little bit, because I should have painted it in grey. I should have painted the stonework in for definite. So we'll put a couple of leaves on. And then we're going to do the same on his tail. I guess you could call it a tail. Ah. Nope, that didn't work. Okay, don't cough over the tiny leaves. That is my advice to everyone who... Hello? No, I'd love another one, please. See how funky we can get with this. Is optimistic in the extreme, but if we pull this off, that one there, one more. Okay, that I'm very, very happy with. Like I say, just that little extra sense of movement. It's very hard to... Yeah, there we go. I'm quite happy with that. Honestly, he's actually one of my favourite figures in the army. I think the rust effects really do stand out on him because he's got quite a lot of metal to show off. I quite like the fade on his cloak that's going on. and I quite like his spoopy ghost entrail thing, tail, whatever. And I'm quite pleased with the way the base worked out. This is not my plan for a base. This was how it originally came to me. And I think that that's worked out quite nicely. Oh, I can see there's a join there. That's how he joins onto his base. That's a really stupid idea, Games Workshop. You are full of those, aren't you? That's just a straight joint. There must be something in that joint to hold that together. Oh well. Yeah, he's probably one of my favourite models in the army. Okay. Well, it's coming together, isn't it? Now that we've kind of decided on doing it, I think we probably need to look at going back and adding it to this guy as well. I'm gonna dot a leaf onto him here. If it's I don't want it to be an overpowering thing, but where it makes sense, don't mind adding a few more of these. I'm trying quite hard to find the most leafy shaped ones, obviously. I'm trying hard to find them and then immediately drop them. And then we can get another one. Oh, well, we've got a hanger on here. And then we're going to two more little ones. I'm going to put a non-leafy shaped one. I mean, it's still leafy shaped, but it's a different kind of leaf. I suppose not every leaf can be a, what would you call that? Is it a birch leaf or a sycamore or? Thank you, Mouldy. I very much appreciate that. Or maybe we do need to just bring a little bit round here as well. I don't want to go overboard. I keep telling myself I'm not going to go overboard, but then I find a spot where it would make perfect sense for there to be another leaf. We can't just add leaves everywhere. But a little bit of leafage is going to be perfect. There we go. That's our spirit host. I was quite happy with the way the green on these turned out. I wanted to keep it so that it didn't look too much like they were just green ghosts. That there was supposed to be a bit of a green sort of glow to them, and the rest of them was just normal white ghosts. So I was quite pleased with how that turned out as well. There we go, it's another one for the pile. What's very difficult about streaming with this setup that we have here with the fixed cameras is that it's quite difficult to actually show you a group shot, as it were. You can see these guys here. I've got this tray, which this tray is where I take my models to the to be sprayed and all sorts. But that doesn't really work either. And even if I bring them out here, you can see a lot of the colour of the bases, but you can't see the models themselves. So what I really need to do is I really need to work out a decent method of taking group photography, which I haven't really got anything in mind for how we do that. It's something we're going to have a look at. I have had a wonderful evening. Yeah, I'm just about learning some techniques for single miniature photography. Somehow one of the models always has its eyes closed. Yeah. I'm just about learning techniques for single miniature photography. I'm getting, black background, get them up on a stand, light towards the front, lower the exposure of the shot, snap away. And a camera phone works for that. My God, these are so annoying. Group shots. What the fudge are you supposed to do? I do not know. I can remember I managed to, way back in the day when I was still modelling and painting for Necromunda, I worked out that if you take the boards that came in the modern Necromunda release and prop them like so, you could create quite a nice industrial look. It's dark enough that it highlights the models, and then you can get a lot of people use tech to stitch a lot of photos together. Yeah, I mean, above your pay grade, and that sounds like work as well. And so I think I was the first person that I saw to take pictures like that, and they worked really well. But you're still limited to about 4 models, because otherwise you can't get zoomed in enough that you can take a picture of anything of. Yeah, it's frustrating. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I think basically what you're going to end up with is just a photograph from here. Here we go, look. Look at my lovely models, like so, and then we just go to Instagram, upload it. I'm not going to do that, that's silly. I will take a decent shot. I'm all about going, doing it for the bit, but I think we need to be a bit sensible about it. Now, what I have also realised is the ones that I'm unhappy with the fade, I can glue little leaves onto them and disguise the fade with leaves. So I'm going to shortcut that as well, because that's kind of what we do. Thank you very much, everybody who's dropped by this evening. I've had a great stream, I say I've had a great stream. I've really enjoyed the stream. I hope it's been a great stream. I hope you'll join me on the next one. I'm going to post up in the Discord a poll, if I can work out how to do it, about what we should be looking at painting next. Oh my God, Caveman's dropping in with a party of 11. Good grief. Literally, I was just about to say good night, everyone. Van Marla, thank you very much for dropping by. Oh my God, there's more of them. Well, I've got the glue out. I've got the leaves out. I was just saying to myself that I really should. Don't you dare! we're going to carry on. We're going to carry on in that case. We might as well. You guys have been very generous to drop some lovely raids into us, so we'll carry on streaming for a bit. We're working on the basis of our Nighthaunt project. We've been working through this these models that we rescued from Facebook, and just in time for Halloween we've decided that we're going to paint them, because that's what we do. So here we go. We're working on the bases. We've got the majority of the paint sorted, so now we are just trying to make ourselves look like we're in a spooky graveyard around about Halloween. So we've got lots of lovely autumnal leaves on the ground, and yeah. Caveman, thank you very much for the raid. Who else? Rub and Fender Crow, thank you very much for the raid. You're not somebody that I'm familiar with. I take it, were you with Caveman on his stream? How did it go? I hope you had a lovely stream. I do hope you've been painting. You pulled them with. Okay, fair enough. I hope you've had a lovely stream. What were you painting? What were you working on? I did see that you were online, but you painted and crafted? Excellent. That's what I like to hear. More one-page rules. Yes, you were streaming with Caveman. Thank you very much for your raid. I really do appreciate it. I hope you had a lovely evening, and I hope you might be able to stick around with us. But I totally understand if you've got to shoot. We are working on some lovely Nighthaunts, and we've decided that we're going to. I work on a free house, French baker. Oh wow! Okay, what a miniature, a model, or? So I'm just almost picking out individual leaves from my collection of leafy bits to stick onto the tail end of these lovely ghosties. Fun and nonsense, that's sometimes the absolute best stream to have. Well, it's lovely to see you here, Caveman. I really do appreciate it. I assure you I won't be trying out my German. As much as I appreciate you dropping everything to go into English for me, nobody wants to hear Fluent Code's attempts at German. Trust me. Thank you very much for the follow. I really do appreciate it. Wonderful. It's lovely to have you here, and the follow itself is fantastic. Please do feel free to follow the channel. Also feel free to check out the Discord and Instagram links down below. We're slowly but surely working out how this streaming nonsense is supposed to be done. See, look, I'm just going to cover up this rather crappy blend that I did with a leaf, because that's what we're about. We're about shortcuts and half measures. Why bother to whole-arse something if you can half-arse it? Now this will be the telling point. Can we get another leaf to just hang off of there to look pretty for? Oh, excellent. Now I've been slowly looking at one-page rules. I've got all the STLs and what have you. So I'm very much tempted to give it a go at some point. I've got a bunch of miniatures actually. What do they call their space lizard men? I've got some of those which I'm quite tempted to paint up at some point. There we go. I think that's worked out quite nicely. Got a few leaves on there, including enough to make it look like they're not accidental, which I suppose is what's important. There we go. Happy with that one. Like I say, these gals look like they're moving quite fast, and so that they would probably cause a little bit of leaf disruption as they pass. So I'm going to carry on with these. Thank you. Kettle. Oh, all right. Okay. Yep, will do. Good night. Right. Okay, so I don't want to go overboard, he says, as he sticks on a million leaves onto each of these models. I just want to try and portray the sense of movement with them. Which I hope this is doing. There we go. So, Caveman, these models, I rescued these from Facebook Marketplace right at the start of the month. I think I went and got them around about October the 4th, October the 5th, something like that. And I thought to myself, oh, do you know what? I think this is crying out for a project, a special stream. Yes, I got them cheap, very cheap. I got over 100 models for £100, and when I looked them up, there was like £400 worth of stuff. So yes, I did manage to pick them up very, very cheap, and I thought these will make an excellent Halloween stream. Over the month of October, I'm going to paint these spooky ghosts in time for Halloween, and so here we are. We're now what are we? We're the 27th. We've got a few days left. I've managed to do about 30 of them in that time, which for me, a day per model, considering I only do it when I stream, I think that's an okay compromise. So we're going to say our project has failed successfully. I've had a real good time doing it. I've tried out a bunch of new techniques. After owning it for about 7 years, I've finally used my airbrush on a project. Rather than firing it up, getting frustrated that it didn't work, I've managed to do something with the airbrush on this one. And not just a little something, I've actually managed to do multiple things with these models with the airbrush, so I'm super proud of that. We've tried out oil washing for the first time, so I'm really pleased with that as well. Oh no. And then we're using these fabulous basing materials that I found online. I had a little bit of inspiration for these, and part of that was these wonderful coloured fake leaf things. And so that's what you see us doing this evening. We're just trying to put the finishing touches to some of these models. As I say, I'm just hoping to fool the senses into thinking that there's a little bit more movement to make these leaves look a bit more involved in the scene. Ooh. Go. Hopefully they don't look too much like butterflies, because I feel butterflies would probably set the wrong tone. Glumdan fan, thank you so much for the follow. Really appreciate that. No, these came from Amazon. I searched for basing leaves, I think, and there's a huge, and I mean huge, range of products that come up. So please do check them out. They're wonderful. They cost like nothing. This pot, it's not a very big pot. I'll show you the pot in a moment. Cost about 4-5 quid, something like that. I went and had a little splurge. So you've got a pot of leaves like so. I think they're sold by the ounce or gram, or yep, nearly spilt them. And I think that was about 5 quid. Yes, obviously, we probably could collect them, but I don't know. I don't know quite what I would be looking for, to be honest with you. What do you just collect leaves and then use a stamp to cut out the shape? I've seen the stamp. That was one of the first things I saw. Somebody was using these things to stamp out shapes from actual leaves, and I thought, oh, that's a good idea. And then I thought, okay, well, one, I'd need to buy the stamp, which is extremely expensive, and then I'd need to go out and collect leaves, and that sounds cold and outside. So I elected not to do that and just buy these. Right, there we go. All I'm trying to do is just create that little extra sense of movement in the model, which I think that works. Ah, I see. Yes, I think that's what these are supposed to be, birch seeds. So if you often use them, can you tell me, is that what a birch tree would grow from? Because that seems like quite a lot of tree from not a lot of seed. Excuse me just for a moment. You're saying the seed is smaller than these. Wow. Okay. I have newfound respect for the birch tree. Oh shit. However, the birch tree's seeds can get in the bin because they ping around and fly all over the place. Right. People came to watch you do stuff, Fluent. Get on with it and do it. That's right. Let's put more seeds on more bases and create a show. So, how's the weather treating you over in Germany at the moment? Because we've just had our clocks go back, and I think suddenly everyone in the UK has realised that autumn has arrived today. Because I've heard an awful lot of people have been complaining about the weather. Now, I know it's a typically British thing to do, to talk about the weather. Rub and Feeder, I really appreciate you dropping by. I really appreciate the follow. I really appreciate the raid with all of your lovely, yummy viewers. Thank you very much. Feel free to drop back at any time. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you here. And hopefully we'll see you again soon. I hope you take care and have a lovely rest of your... Mind you, in Germany, it's not going to be much of a rest of your evening if you're from the same location as Caveman, but I hope you have a lovely whatever you're doing. Ah, well, okay. Well, you can keep that. I don't mind you having that, making the most of it, and never sending it back again. Yeah, it's been quite windy here just of late, to be fair. And it's been interesting. So from my little studio window here, I can see over to the secondary school. which is where my daughter will be going in the next year, in fact. And they're in the process of having a whole bunch of like temporary units delivered, which arrive on the back of a lorry and then have to be craned into place. And I can see that from my studio window, and it's been entertaining watching them struggle with the weather and the enormous crane and the equally enormous temporary units that they're putting in. So yes, that's been swaying backwards and forwards for most of the day, which has been quite good fun to watch. Oh, there we go. Just pop that little one on there. So. Well, that's like 3 leaves in one there. I wonder if that's going to stick properly. I hope so. I think we'll leave that one now. We only need a little bit. And the bits where it's not actually touching the ground, I don't want to overdo it. So we'll go like that. And I'm not going to bother trying to stick any inside the model, because that seems like a bit of a faff, if I'm honest. Okay, that's another one of... No, that's the first of those blade something. I'm sure they're like blade geist revenant arses or something. I don't know. Feel free to correct me if anyone is intimately familiar with the Nighthaunt lore. I have been struggling with that. I quite like the models. These models, I think, are actually really, really dynamic. I don't normally like the whole CAD designed modern dynamic of Games Workshop models, but I think these ones are quite fitting. They do make quite a good spooky ghost, I think. So I'm willing to forgive them. However, the lore behind them leaves me absolutely dry. There's nothing that I've read about these Nighthaunts set me on fire, to be fair. I was going to use the phrase "get me wet," but I thought better of it, and then still went ahead with it anyway. Yeah, there's just something about the models. Great. The faction and the lore behind them, I'm just like, yeah. Every single model, the lore behind it appears to be Nagash didn't like me while I was alive, or didn't like them while they were alive, so now they can, I don't know, play with turds while they're dead or something. I don't know. It's the normal sort of Games Workshop lore of oh, isn't this a cool model? How do we make it so that they fit in with the game? I don't know, just make shit up. And so they appear to have made shit up with the best of them. There we go. Another one done. So yes, the long and the short of that was I think that these are called sword swingy guys. I could be wrong. They could be called Dave. I think the lore of these are people who died in fear. Become this whirling, swirling dervish of death or something. Like I say, it doesn't make any sense, but that's where we're at. Oh. Actually, I think we might need a few more in the pot here. We're getting kind of low. So it does pose the question of, is there somebody out there whose job it is to collect birch seeds? I mean, I'm guessing it must be so. Because, well, I've bought a pot of birch seeds, so I'm guessing that somebody must have the job of collecting them. I coughed again, didn't I? God damn it. Oh my god, picking up individual ones of these from the cutting mat is almost impossible. Huh? One. Two. I think maybe that one can have just a little dab in there, and it might be able to have just one little leaf of its own on the inside. Oh shit, picked up like 7 leaves at once there. Trying to just pick up one to make a point. Oh my god, stop it. There we go. It's number 3 of those. 2 more. And then we are going to call it a night. So hopefully we've got enough glue left. We're not going to get more out. Sticky icky glue. Right. So yeah, overall, this project I would rate as a 8 out of 10. I like the models. The lore is kind of junk, but I've had a really, really nice time learning how to do different techniques, playing with models that I wouldn't normally have even looked at twice. Because as much as they're great models, it never would have occurred to me to go, oh, do you know what? I'm going to go out and buy a whole bunch of Nighthaunt. It was only the fact that somebody was selling them very cheap as well, I might add, that made me think, oh, do you know what? Yeah, that's definitely a bit of me. So I know we're going for added realism here. And the reason I know this is realistic is because this is exactly what my lawn looks like at this time of year. Just an absolute shower of leaves and uncut grass. Right, not an awful lot to do on this one. I just want to keep this one quite basic. Does mean having to pick up some leaves. And then we're going to put another one round, pretty much equal spacing, but on the inside. I'll put it there, I think. Go. And the final one is this bad boy here, which has got a nice streak of ivy going on. I'm going to just see if I can't liven some of this up, because it's starting to look a bit sticky. Panda Godisu, welcome to the chat. I do apologise. I know you've come in with Caveman. I don't actually speak German. I have my GCSE German, which was absolutely terrible. If you know English, I'd be happy to indulge. But I must say, I'm your typical Englishman. I don't know another language. Hold on, I could translate it. But anyway, welcome into the chat. Even if I don't know what you're saying. I need to find something better than using this springy plastic cover, because as you can see, it's clearly going to send everything everywhere.
Hey, phrasing!
yes, AWOL, thank you for that. Right. Oh, we've got a few loose ones on this guy. This is the one where we put a streak of ivy down the side of it. I think that's well placed. I think that's come out quite nicely. We've got ivy and then a little bit of whatever that is. And actually, it's the glue. I think we managed to get a little bit of glue on that prong, and it's managed to put some... You need some more expensive commands. Well, I mean, I could take the same commands and make them more expensive for you, if that would make you feel better. Or I could potentially devote some time and energy into some more chat commands. I suppose at some point I probably need to go ahead and put some more. That's not fair to Nivo. No, it's very true. I think what I'll need to do is I will need to put some time and effort into some more chat commands. I have got a few that I have in mind. Most of them will be borrowed from some of my other channels that I watch. Got some people are very creative out there. And I like what they've done, so I might pay homage, or steal, as it's also known. And there we have it, folks. That is our final blade swinging lunatic. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Don't forget, we've also got the emotes. I did spend quite a lot of time. I was very, very proud of the emotes. So do feel free to spam away with whatever you like. But yes, I will potentially be working on some more. I'm sure yours will. I'm sure yours will turn out all right. AWOL. I think you're a man with an attention to detail that probably works quite well for things like that. As I was saying, I have picked up some Gundam from AliExpress that are probably not Gundam, but they fit the bill for me to tinker around with. So once they arrive, they will go into the poll for what we're doing next. It's going to be a couple of choices. We could go back to the Eldar. We could try something new along a Games Workshop or other miniature lines. Or we might even, I've got a big pile of Airfix and stuff over there, which might be... Yes, it's probably going to turn out to be like... I think one of them is a Zaku, which I am familiar enough with the universe to know that is actually a thing. So hopefully it will turn out to be okay, and they'll be quite good fun to build, and I'll have a bit of, another shelf warmer. Yes, yeah, most likely. Right, folks. I really appreciate everyone who's dropped by. I really appreciate the new follows. Rabenfeder, Glamandafan, Glumanda fan. Don't know. Maybe they're like Amanda. and I will see you back later in the week. I might go live tomorrow evening. I have a day off. We'll mostly be playing Xbox with the child, because she now has my Xbox and she's having a great time with it. So until then, I will, for the second time tonight, I'm going to choose to throw you onto somebody else. Let's have a look. Who have we got? Who's out there? I would like to throw you in the direction of J7. So hopefully you guys will go and have a little look at their Eldar, which is considerably better than my Eldar. And I hope you'll enjoy what they have to offer. It's been a great evening having you guys here. I'm really pleased with how these guys have come along, and hopefully I'll get some group shots up for you soon. But until then, take care, and I'll see you on the next one. Good night, folks.